Good morning, everyone. On behalf of program, committee, and organizing team, I'm pleased to welcome you at the 5th Belgrade Open Access Conference. I'm also proud that we have 100 or so registrants, although I would say half of them are not present at this morning session for some reason. You know that the organizer of this event, Center for Evaluation, is a small, we write down virtual, and some read non-existent organization. In any case, low-budgeted organization, which means there is a disproportion between our strength, real strength, and our ambitions to organize such an international event. You also know that we are in Serbia, a country which is maybe known for its tennis players, but certainly not as a destination of so-called scientific tourism. You finally know that we live a global crisis when times are hard for everyone. Travel budgets of academic institutions suffer unprecedented cuts all around. We got fully aware of this only when we entered deeply into the organization of this event. That's why I especially welcome our international guests, some of which came from far away, from India, from Great Britain, and from elsewhere. We appreciate that dearly. Well done, and thank you. I feel sorry for some good accepted papers sent also from distant places such as Taiwan or Spain, whose authors couldn't manage and canceled their trips practically at the last minute. We faced many difficulties too. In spite of all this, we managed to gather a number of quality presentations sufficient for a 2-day conference. More importantly, we brought to you world top experts to give their lectures on this conference main topic. In this short opening address, let me say a few words about this topic. I'd like to explain why we selected it, what our intentions were, what we get so far, and what we expect to get in the course and the aftermath of the conference. There will be no data, no presentation slides, but those who eventually find something in my words will have an opportunity to read them as a preface of our conference proceedings. Of course, in a slightly different form, in more formal discourse, and supported by some facts and figures. We put the academic journals into the focus of this year's conference. We had in mind primarily journals from transition and developing countries, since this is the scope and range of this conference, its organizer, and its traditional participants. We have no illusion of being able to gather people who are changing the world, but we do have potential to advance scientific publishing, open access practices across the region and further afield. Our motives to put the stress on journals came out from some alarming signs indicating serious crisis in small journals publishing as industry, as technology, and as a communication channel. Within a European project on state-of-the-art of research and development information infrastructure in the region, we recognize that situation in many aspects is not good and that something has to be done to prevent crisis development. We in this room would easily agree that small, locally published professional journals, LPGs, have their role and full justification. This role is far more important in developing small income, small in size, non-English speaking countries. In such countries, they serve as hotbeds of professionalism, scientific thinking, and academic excellence. Local journals are places where local problems, not attractive to scientists publishing in big science, are communicated and provoked to be studied. They serve as the practically only platform for some social sciences and humanities. Finally, some of LPGs got internationalized, and become members of a narrow cycle of the most influential journals within their branches, matching already established journals in terms of quality and impact. This is an important role recognized by many state governments, who in return normally support LPGs as a vehicle for developing national science, technology, and innovation. Thanks to government support, many journals are in the position to enter open access, making this way themselves more efficient. In parallel, thanks to the modern technologies, publishing is getting less and less expensive. LPGs are also becoming better looking, more readable, more communicable. Thanks to local aggregators, local repository developers, and local database publishers, journal articles become available on a click, even on the mobile telephones. Students, school teachers, engineers, country doctors, and other professionals, of course, read journal articles more now than ever in the past. Publishing giants such as Thomson and Elsevier are getting more and more open for accepting LPGs on their journal lists. These are all good news, and good news for all. However, as usually, not all news are good ones. The governments of developing countries are shakable structures. In crisis, they easily forget their commitments and change their spending priorities. Research and development sector is among the first victims of the most common response to crisis, which is, of course, budget cuts. At the same time, research publishing is the first target within research and development sector. Salaries of the researchers cannot normally be touched, at least not directly, while provision for the international journals and databases is protected by long-term contracts. Hence, support for the domestic journals is a handy budget item for making so-called internal resources savings. In Serbia, the first tranche of credit line to support journals for the current years comes as a rule for years back only in autumn. These days, in these countries, we have a parliamentary election at all levels. It was reported that advertising spending by political parties during this election campaign exceeded so far the sum of 8 million euros, just from the government budget only, let alone other sources. A 30-minute ad is paid about 40,000 euros of government money. This is almost as much as for a 1 year support for all Serbian journals, about 20 of them, that are indexed by Web of Science. And those journals, I will show you that in my paper tomorrow morning, are the best of Serbian science. According to the last year Journal Citation Report impact factor data, they became the highest ranked national journals in the broad region. We haven't met anything similar for any other bibliometric indicator. Entities from Serbia have normally average rankings in the region at best. Now, my suggestion to Serbian editors, put political parties on the covers of your journals. Today, presidential candidates jump out from any box you can possibly open. So don't allow your journals to be an exception. Getting back to unfunny reality, I'm sure that Serbian situation is all but specific, all but unique. It is more or less the same in our neighborhood and supposedly around the developing world. In some small countries and languages, journals become endangered species. And if the trends continue, they will be extinct soon. We have difficulties to find one single journal published in the current year while trying to prepare a sort of demo for our regional database. In 2 of regional countries, one single issue. Regardless of the budget cuts, a pressure on researchers to publish more and in more prestigious journals continue to grow. This, of course, results in the growth of various forms of research and publishing misconduct. One of such unpleasant phenomena is growing plagiarism. Less severe forms of misbehavior, such as self-plagiarism, redundant and duplicated publications, ghostwriting, hyper-authorship, etc., which we call more corrosive than explosive, are even more frequent. Findings from developing countries, including our own from Serbia, show that this is less disease and more a symptom of a disease. Other symptoms we registered in the region include fabrication of research results, falsifying personal bibliographies, mobbing, sex blackmailing, and fake diploma trafficking. All evidenced. Similar academic misbehaviors happen occasionally in countries of developed long-term democracies as well. But they have potentials to handle the cases and protect public interest. In developing countries, the funding institutions, usually governmental bodies, agencies, as well as research and higher education organizations, are obviously not able, not willing not competent, not authorized, whatever, to exert such control and protect not only public interest, but victims themselves. Another source of our anxiety is mushrooming of so-called predatory journals. I'm referring here to publishers with a false or non-existent peer review process, who are aggressively soliciting article submissions for the only purpose of gaining additional income. What is tricky here is that predatory publishers are an extreme of an open author pays model, which is a legitimate, promising model for small publishers to overcome financial difficulties. Now, the question is how to avoid this trap. And where is the green line, and who is the one to draw it? We have no proof that any such case exists in Serbia at the moment, but we are on alarm after locating several cases in our neighboring countries, one of which is a member of European Union. Collective frustration by some developments brings to the surface various latent counterproductive ideologies. One of such is the mistrust in the system of evaluation, both international and local. Some journals' editors perceive their journals as victims of the world system of international periodicals publishing, as dominated by large publishers and dominant system of evaluation tailored according to their needs. As in each crisis, conspiracy theories, theories about unjust world, etc., receive more public attention and more followers. Nationalistic and quasi-leftist streams of thinking start aggressively to block efforts of reformers in developing countries. We are bearing witness of some recent retrograde changes in Serbia as well as in Croatia, produced under the pressure of informal groups of influential members of academic community who are happy with their present positions and are opposing open, data-driven, fair evaluation. I apologize for picturing reality with so dark colors, but there is plenty of evidence, both research and anecdotal, to support the thesis that starting from outbreak of global recession in 2008, the situation in developing and transition countries is steadily worsening. This doesn't mean, of course, that waiting for better times is an answer. To the contrary, I hope we are here to fulfill each other's individual perceptions, to better characterize the problems, and to indicate the ways how to solve them. And as announced in our call, we assume that Belgrade is the right place to mix and match different and distant players, having their say on this subject. That is why we assembled scholars from developed and developing world experts and local enthusiasts, big and small publishers, developers and journal editors to give their say on this important issue. The Open Data Base Publishers Forum tomorrow afternoon will be the best opportunity to do it. We will be in the position to listen to the representatives of two leading providers of scientific information today. It is pity that some European publishers of various size missed to appear, offering for that various explanations. They will be substituted by two small journal aggregators dealing with national journals in Serbia and Croatia, and having ambitions to extend their coverage to the region. Two of the big publishers at the forum, Thomson Reuters and Elsevier, are big companies facing global crisis as well. These are tough times even for them. However, we shouldn't save them from uneasy questions. They are partners of funding institutions and governments in this part of the world, and are in very good position to say their words in favor of local journals, local publishers and evaluators, hopefully in their own interest. To finish, let me thank both of them for coming to this conference, and thank them additionally for their sponsorship support. Our thanks to Crossref too. Thanks to our partner, National Library of Serbia. Thanks to our invited speakers. Thanks to all of you for coming, and thanks for your attention.